Eric Lacroix is a cool guy. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. We've got AJ, we've got Rudo coming to you as the Avs are taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know what to expect out of tonight. I got to be honest. I'm not really sure what's going to be in store for this one.
Yeah, Sam.
We'll see. It is Trent Miner's net for the Avalanche side of this, which maybe adds even more uncertainty if I'm being honest about it. But we don't have to get into all of that just yet, because we were joined by the man himself, Big E, earlier today. Big E, obviously a regional scout for the Toronto Maple Leafs now, so a little bit of a man on the inside that we got to talk to. Let's hear from him on tonight and a whole bunch of other fun topics. The man, the myth, the legend, Big E is joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. E, it's been a while. Good to see you. First of all, how's life going back east?
Yeah, I like the clapping, Tiff. I love it. Stop it. No, it's great. And Rudo, your hair is fantastic.
Oof.
AJ, you look fantastic as well. Good to see you in studio there, buddy. No, it's great. Everything's been great. It's been fun. And, get to watch hockey and plenty of hockey. And sure miss you guys. Miss being around there. Miss the whole community. And Miss Chef Rob's creations and everybody. So yeah, it's been good, but I sure miss everybody.
All right, I'll cut right to the chase. How many defensemen are you scouting for the Leafs at this point?
It's funny. It's funny how things go, right, with the injuries around the league, and then you're just so lucky sometimes when there's nothing, and we all know what the Avs went through, like last couple years. It's been absolutely stupid, right? And even this year now, I mean, it seems like it's just kind of hit a little bit with Landy, and I'm not too sure. Again, I'm not like on top of it like you guys are, but all of a sudden, it feels like when it hits, it just hits teams. You know what I mean? The Leafs got hit pretty hard there for a bit there. Oh my God, it's like, are you serious? And it's every day there's something, and even in Boston, which is my base area, like the Bruins, like all of a sudden everything was good. And then all of a sudden they just kind of lost 3, 4, 5 guys in a row. You know what I mean? It's, I think you'll see more and more of it, the condensed schedule a little bit. I think you'll see some boring, like you saw maybe a little bit yesterday, 1-0 games with 3 games in 4 nights where both teams are dead. And you know what I mean? And I don't know. The condensed schedule it makes it where injuries are going to be more frequent, I think. And, but at the end of the day, that's the beauty of sending the guys to the Olympics, and something's got to give. And it sounds like the schedule is what gives it a little bit at times. But hopefully for the Avalanche or for the Leafs and all guys, again, you don't wish anything on anybody, but hopefully for those two teams, the injury bug is not going to be too bad.
Would you say that this is about when the time of the season when the condensed schedule will really start to have its impact? Because the first couple months of the season were they were a little bit quicker, but also everybody was a lot fresher, and now they're getting way less recovery time per night.
Yeah, and it's like, it's funny because if I put my hat of a player on, it's like you're looking at it and you're like, man, it's not that. What is it? February? What is it? 4th to break? I don't remember.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like when you do the math, it's like, oh, it's like a month, 3 weeks, whatever it is, right? It's not that bad, but those are grueling 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You know what I mean? The schedule for some teams is absolutely ridiculous, and it's hard because every game matters. Every game's important. You feel for coaches a little bit, and at the end of the day, as you guys know, it's all about how you manage practice and how you manage bodies and days off. And but I do, and I'll be in the East. every day. Oh boy, is it a difference between the Western Conference and the
Yeah.
Eastern Conference? It is absolutely crazy how easy the travel is in the East. How crazy being in the same time zone it can be, and you know what I mean. Like it just your internal clock is just not all messed up, and the hours on the plane, like you're talking about like a lot of train rides around here for some of those teams. You're talking about like 10-minute car rides. You're talking about 20-minute flights. We don't have that in Denver, as you guys know, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's everything is a little bit more and a little bit tougher, and so I think it's important, to make sure that and I think Bednar does a great job with that. You know what I mean? And the rest and the days off and all that kind of stuff.
Uh, Travel's easier, sure, but from last to the playoffs in the East is less points than from first to second in the West. It feels like every night, every team's just desperate for points in the East.
And it's going to make it tougher for a trade deadline, as you know. I mean, it's not that far off. You know what I mean? And it's like, it feels you lose, you have a bad weekend, and you're just completely in the dumps. And it feels like you go and you win a couple games, and you feel you're alive. And look at the Leafs. You know what I mean? Like, what is it, 7-0-2 now? You know what I mean? So. We talk about those 10-game segments. You want to make the playoffs, you got to hit. I mean, the Avalanche are on a gazillion game segment, but like whatever. It's been awesome to watch, but we all knew last year. We knew they were a good team last year. We all knew in the playoffs that they should have won that series. Again, I'm not going back, and I'm not trying to, but but you got to hit those stretches of 10 games where you go undefeated or you pick up points, and
Yeah.
and again, if you get yourself in a hole, then you got to get a couple of those stretches, and it just seems like. But you're right. The East, it's so weird. Even the Bruins, for example, like they'll go win 6 in a row, then they'll lose 5 in a row, and they're like, oh my god, like it's so like crazy, and no one is really taking off, and no one, well, Tampa has, but no one is really falling behind. You know what I mean? So look at Buffalo, look at
Yep.
teams that you thought they were dead. You know what I mean? Like, hey, oh, this team's dead, but all of a sudden everybody's in it. So I think it makes it hard for the trade deadline coming up. I think some teams are going to have some real decisions to make, and because it's like, are we in this or are we not in this, right? You know what I mean? And unfortunately, fortunately, I guess, because you always, you want to play to win the Stanley Cup. So that's not unfortunately, but fortunately, everybody's kind of still in it. But unfortunately, some teams are going to probably make the wrong decisions, right? Because of it's
Yep.
just not going to work out for them. And that's just the way it is, right? So.
Well, and the deadline's on March 6th, which right now on January whatever
Super
12th.
duper late deadline.
Yeah, the January 12th. It feels like, wow, it's still really far away, but the 3 weeks in the middle of February
When
that
you're
no
frozen,
games get played
Yeah.
makes it so that, like, yeah, teams are down to the wire. Their teams are down to their last 15 games or so before the deadline, and it's like it's you're getting real close to decision time. If you don't make a run in the next couple of weeks, really before the Olympic break,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to have time to before the deadline, and you got to make choices.
You got to make choices, and like I said, unfortunately, though, again, hopefully not for the Leafs, not for teams we care about, but someone's going to make the wrong decision because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to get in, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you look at it, and maybe you can look back and say, like the Avs last year, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they should have done this, should have done that. Oh, we talked about it. I love what they did at the deadline. Brock Nelson turned out to be a pretty good player. I mean, hopefully the people are not still complaining about Brock Nelson, but you know what I mean?
They are
Like,
not.
But no, but you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like they went all in, and when you have a core of McKinnon, McCarr, and things like that, I get it. You know what I mean? And you got to do it. And I think I would have been the first one critiquing if they wouldn't have done it and say, "What are we doing here? You're wasting their time." But then you go in and it feels like it's a complete disaster because it doesn't work out, and we all know it didn't work out. But at the end of the day, it was like a couple tweaks here and there, and they're right back at it, and then you're back at it with a vengeance. And losing does do something to you. It does do something to your team spirit. And sometimes you gotta hate to lose, and you gotta put yourself in that situation. And it sounds like for the Avs, for example, they did not like their exit last year, and I think they wore it on their hearts and sleeves and all over the summer and get themselves ready to go. And it seems like every game they want to win 10-0. You know what I mean? It's cool to watch, right? It's fun to see, that They're like, hey, listen, that's not who we are. That's not what we did last year, and we didn't like the way it ended. And now they're doing something about it. I love it. You know what I mean? Like we talk about it all the time, right? You can be about winning, or you can say you're about winning. And on the Avalanche, for example, they are about winning right now, and everybody, is backing it up with their play.
Is that the biggest difference between the Avs and the Leafs? Because the Leafs have a pretty great core when you look at guys like Matthews, obviously Nylander having a fantastic year. Tavares, they still get a bunch of great stuff out of.
Yeah.
Obviously, you compare the defenses and you see a bit of a gap too, but why are the vibes so good for a team like Colorado as opposed to the eternal depression of the Leafs vibes?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's there's outside noise too. I think internally guys believe in themselves, and they were behind the eight ball to start the season, right? I mean, Stolars is your guy. All of a sudden he goes down. Wall is your other guy. They're both very good goaltenders, and he goes down and with some stuff that he had to deal with and goes away, for what, a month or whatever it was, and then you lose Tanev, you're probably your safest, most reliable D. And
Yeah.
then you've lost, you lost, and everyone goes through it. It's not an excuse. It's just like, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, Matthews was out, Wheelander was out. Then there's always a forward or two that were out. So all of a sudden, you're not really playing with a real lineup. You're never playing with, kind of like what the Avs did last year, right? It was like, it was kind of annoying at times. And you got to stick with it. And then obviously there's a lot of pressure here, because of, this is 19, what is it, 67, whatever, the last cup.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? It's a little different. Different kind of Canadian pressure is a little different as well. And I'm not blaming the media. I'm just saying it's just the reality, right? It's just a little more intense there. But guys, again, it's a wonderful place to play, and they're a wonderful core of guys and players. You just said Tavares, guys like that, they tend to forget about how good that guy is, and so I think now that you're going to see maybe a healthier lineup, and I think things will be a little bit better. And again, winning cures everything. When you're losing, everything stinks. Everything is not fun. But when you're winning, things are easier. Things are better. I'll just ask Buffalo, right? You know what I mean? So all of a sudden. Right, you know what I mean? So we'll see. You know what I mean? It's again, it's a long year, and you've heard me say it all the time. It's not a 26 game season; it's an 82 game season, right? You know what I mean? So there's going to be ups and downs, and I think one of you guys talked a little bit about adversity. I don't remember. I always follow. Of course, I listen to the show. I always follow stuff in the news and know better in Denver than listening to you guys. You know that I'm biased, but it's true. And then. But I think somebody said it a couple of days ago. Oh, you want a little adversity, and you're right. You know what I mean? Like whoever said it, might have been you, AJ. But
Probably Bailey.
You do.
She's the smart one.
Or Bailey, yeah, maybe. You want adversity. You don't want it to be too easy. You want things to go south. You want things to go bad. You do. You know what I mean? As sadistic as it sounds, because then it's just a little easier, and you know how to deal with it as a group. And year to year, everything's different. It's different players. It's different situations. It's different times. Maybe 2 years ago, well, they had just won the cup, and it's like, oh, maybe you're not that hungry. Now we're talking about that window, right? 96 to 01, you know what I mean? So now this is the 22 window to, whatever it is. And, there's a lot of pressure for the Avalanche, to do well and to win, right? So I think that being hungry is nothing wrong with that. And usually it comes from having faced adversity and again, kudos to them. They haven't faced a lot of adversity this year. Their adversity was more in the playoffs last year, right? Where they were so disappointed. And I think they're just wearing that. And then, but again, there's nothing wrong with a couple games here and there. They're not going to go 82-0, even though it sounded like it for a while. But, now they're that's okay. They're a good team, and they got good players. They got good leaders. And, hey, you got McKinnon, you got McCarr. Jesus, and then you got Gabe back. It's amazing what a guy like Gabe can do, right? You know what I mean?
No
We talked
kidding.
about it.
No kidding.
It's honor. I mean, people on the outside, they always ask, "Oh my God!" It's like, well, you got 92 back. That makes a big difference. You know what I mean? It does. It just does. So leadership is big. So
yeah, Eric. I'm curious from your perspective. There's been a lot of conversation about how the Avalanche should approach this year's deadline, about whether it should be, they obviously every team wants to add. They want to add around the edges and try to find the right guys that fit, right? But there's also been the counterpoint of, well, look how great this team chemistry is. Why would you even mess with it, right? So from your perspective, you're once again working in an NHL front office, and I'm curious, if you were in this position, how would you balance team chemistry versus we just have a need that we think that we can fill?
Yeah. Well, I think for the people of Denver and you guys and me and, there's no better than, 01, right? Because of the Rob Blake trade. For me, I always go back to that one. You have great chemistry. You got great teammates. You got you're running. You're doing well, but you feel that you got to do something. And I think that the easiest thing I can say is winning is hard. It's not easy to win.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to make the hard decisions. And once you believe as a team that that thing needs to be done, for example, like, sacrificing Deddy, to go get that extra defenseman they felt was needed. And it's hard to argue with them. Adam Denmark's my favorite Avalanche player. You guys know that of all time. And again, I love the guy, but they did it and it was needed and it worked. So it's hard to argue against it, right? Because you're like, they felt like it was something, and was it going to mess up the chemistry and everything? Everything you got to look into everything. And once you realize that at the end of the day, it's hard to win and it's never easy, and you got to put feelings aside. Then you got to go do what's best for you, right? And they got to do what's best for them at each team, and even if it means ruffling a little bit of feathers, and you got to make sure that it's all in the presentation too, how everything's presented, how everything's doing. You don't just do it to do it, but if it makes sense and you're doing it, then so be it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's hard to win. We can all be friends after when we're 40, 50, and we're all go up years together. And, unfortunately, not everyone can be there, right? So that's just unfortunate.
If you're not getting better, you're getting worse, right?
Well, and
Yeah, that's right.
the Deadmarsh example is particularly poignant about team chemistry because he and Peter Forsberg were famously really close, and they moved Deadmarsh anyway.
Yep.
And
That's right.
Forsberg could have been mad, and your dad walked a very tight line with that decision. It could have blown up in his face. It could have made Forsberg upset, but they went and did it anyway. And so I think it's a really good example of this could go wrong, but the benefit here could also be the ultimate prize.
And Deddy, I mean, for Pierre's sake, like if he was here, he'd tell you guys, Dedder was one of his all-time favorite guys. He was, like, player and person. You know what I mean? And it was tough. You know what I mean? And it's not. They're not easy moves to make. You know what I mean? But sometimes they're necessary. And it's nothing against Deddy. It's just that actually it's a compliment. You know what I mean? Because the other team is like willing to part with their star, but in order for you to give them that piece, right? So it's not. You know what I mean? It's not degrading. It's complimentary. You know what I mean? And it's hard on the spot to understand that. But but at the end of the day, it's hard to win. It's hard to make. It's hard to make the right moves, and more often than not, you're making the wrong one, right? Because not everyone wins, right? There's only one winner, so it's just the way it is.
What's up? The only thing I have left, we still do the crystal ball around here.
Yeah.
Can you give me a score and a player for tonight? Avs versus Toronto.
God, I gotta go 3-2. Good guys, Austin Matthews and OT.
Oh, brutal.
Cut the feed.
In OT,
guys.
that's like a cheat code against the Avs. You're not allowed to pick
know.
OT.
I like the OT though because at least the Avs are getting a point out of this.
True.
I'm fine with this.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Well, it's great to see you guys, and you guys are awesome. Keep up the great work, and Bailey's been great. Everybody's been great. So Tiff's the best. I know that. She keeps you guys in check. So make sure chat takes care of that, and say hi to everybody in chat. Say hi to everybody around. And it was great to be on with you guys.
Appreciate you, E. Thank you for
All
calling
love.
in. Always a blast to catch up with Eric Lacroix. Of course, he was calling in on the Xfinity call-in line. Xfinity, imagine that. E, we will see you soon, I'm sure.
We miss you, buddy.
You're awesome.
That was, of course, Big E. Always great to catch up with him. I'm sure we'll have him on again, maybe next week with the Avs playing the Leafs again. We'll see. But
maybe we'll get him. Maybe we'll get him at home and not at one of Max's games.
Bro's always working, though. You know he's never not at the rink.
You're right. What was I thinking? He'll be at a different game.
Yep. Avs Leafs. You guys have seen the Avs stat card a million times. A lot of ones, except for the power play. They're real good. The Leafs, kind of an interesting team this year. They score at an elite rate almost entirely based off their ability to finish. They have a fantastic PK, but defensively, they're a genuine nightmare.
And as we mentioned in the interview with Eric, a lot of that is injury.
Yeah, their decor has been cooked.
It is just a straight up infirmary ward back there.
Tanev got back for all of 3 games and then got hurt again.
Always the fear with Tanev.
Yeah.
It was always the thing about him where you give him a 5-year deal, right?
Yep.
Like, he was already deep into his 30s.
And was not a healthy guy before that.
Right, so injury prone going into it. Yeah. He was just, and like when he's healthy, he's fantastic. He elevates every defense that he's on. Missing that guy makes it tough. And then both of their goaltenders have struggled to stay in net.
Yep.
For various reasons. It's not just health. Like,
for sure.
So it's really been kind of a nightmare for them. And you want to talk about a team that is genuinely living to outscore its problems. It's this one right now.
Yep. And can't take them for granted. They're a legitimate offensive threat that live in an Eastern Conference where being 12th in the NHL in points means they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tough.
But
they got Willie Nylander back, so
yeah, that helps them a lot.
Oh, good. Now their offense is going to be better.
Just in time. Face the Avs.
Fantastic.
Yep. Not your favorite thing to see there if you're an Avs fan, but it is what it is. The Avs, look, you want to see them take advantage of the Leafs' weakness on the defensive side tonight. There should be no doubt about that. Not saying they're going to blow this team out or anything, but especially with Minor and net, you want to give him the goal support.
I would prefer it.
Yeah, it would be easier.
From a chill perspective.
Fair enough.
I would prefer it.
Maybe they make it exciting.
But
I don't know.
Any dub is fine.
True
honestly.
enough.
I'm not going to get upset about any kind of dub.
Updates on some injuries as well as some other things came from Jared Bednar at morning skate. We'll get to that in a minute. We're going to get to Jared Bednar first. Coach, he didn't have a ton to say. The other day I felt like he talked a ton, but today just kind of the usual morning skate interview. Let's hear from Bednar.
You guys start off with their team. Go ahead.
Jared, is Trent Minor getting a start tonight?
He is.
What goes into that decision?
Love the way he played the other night, and we got some goalies dinged up, so we're going to give him another opportunity.
Jesse?
Goalies, is Scott dealing with something a little bit as well?
He is, yeah.
Any question? Go ahead, Ryan.
Upper or lower?
He's playing, so he's good enough to play, yeah.
Any questions, Mark Masters?
Jared, what stands out about the Leafs? Obviously, they're feeling good right now.
Yeah.
What stands out about the challenge tonight?
Well, I mean, I just picture them as a really good hockey team. They're playing their best hockey of the year. You know, you study their game. They're scoring more than they have in the recent past and defending well. You know, like every team goes through ups and downs through the course of the year, and oftentimes that's related to injuries in the lineup and getting bodies back and finding chemistry. And they've certainly found that here recently and are playing real well. So we're expecting a tough game tonight.
Rachel?
Going back to the goalies, are you able to kind of observe the relationship that's forming between Trent and the 2 more experienced goaltenders and how they're kind of communicating together? Like, do you see the older guys giving Trent words of wisdom and encouragement?
Yes, yeah. I'm not around for all of that, but I certainly, like, our guys are really, both those guys are really welcoming guys, right? And they're happy to share their knowledge, and no one more excited for Trent the other night than those 2 guys, right? I saw him talking after the game. He was in there. Wedge was congratulating him, as were other members of our team. But I think both our guys have a wealth of experience, and you know, Wedge is more than happy to share all his wisdom, and Trent and him have a good relationship. So it's kind of neat to see, you know, Wedge supporting him that way, especially when he comes up with his first win and his first shutout win. I think it's a big moment for him, and everyone was happy for him. But they're constantly talking, you know, like those 3 guys and UC spend a lot of time on the ice together, working through things in practice, and they're constantly communicating and sharing what they're learning.
Jesse?
Obviously, we know about the results from the first half. Just what have you thought of this group's process in the first half of the season here?
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, the thing that stands out for me is like the focus of our team, the consistency of our team. I mean, it's not easy to win on any given night in this league, and for them to be able to prepare the way they prepared, like as individuals and as a group, and then, maintain focus on a nightly basis and find different ways to win. I mean, it's as high as I've seen it, and I think the results are kind of showing that.
Couple last ones, Bailey, then Mark.
Coach, working towards your 18th straight win at home tonight, just the process there and what seems to be working so well for you guys here at home.
Yeah, that same answer as as the last question, really, at the end of the day. I think it's, I don't know. To me, it is that focus and consistency. Obviously, health has been a big factor in the record for me. Like, we're not missing key players on a nightly basis until recently. So, guys are slotted in the lineup where they should be and in areas where they can excel, and guys have been doing that. But like, there's a consistency to our play this year that's impressive, and that helps obviously with the result.
Mark finishes up.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what stood out the most to you about the first half McKinnon put together, and is there anything in particular he's doing to score at a higher rate than he has maybe in the past?
He's shooting more, I think. There's a chemistry with Marty. They're doing a nice job. Their possession numbers are obviously very good. There was a stretch there where I'd say he was picking up, and if I looked at the first half from last year to the first half from this year, I think he's picking up some additional goals down at the net in the dirty areas. It's something that he's able to do now, I think, with the way Marty plays with the puck away from the net as well. So now they're kind of interchangeable there. I think in years past, Nate's the guy that has to control it on the perimeter a lot and make things happen either up top with Cale or down low with his teammates. But sometimes now when that's happening, it's Marty helping control the play, so he's able to get to the net and pick up some extra looks and opportunities on rebounds and deflections, screens, that kind of thing. So yeah, I like the fluidity of their game. They're doing a nice job, with the chemistry on that line. And I don't know. There's not a lot that stands out. Like, he's had really good years here in the past, but I have noticed him pick up some of those goals, probably more than he has in a couple of the years past. And just consistency, really. Every night he's finding a way to get on the board, and I think that's part of it. The chemistry he has with his line mates.
Thank you, Jared.
Yep. Thank you.
So you heard it from Bedsy there, but we can go into the Common Spirit Injury Report. They're the official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Make sure you're getting yourself over to Common Spirit if you have anything ailing you. Not too much to update here. Most of the guys are still week to week, but a full practice participant from Mackenzie Blackwood in their last practice. So whatever this minor Wedgwood is banged up but could play if he needs to situation, hopefully it doesn't mean a whole lot, because Blackwood should be back really soon.
Tight.
That is the way I would put it. Or to be honest, you probably just described Scott Wedgwood, what he's playing through.
Tightness. Tight.
See what I did there?
Yeah. That's a pro's pro right there.
Excuse me. Oh, God.
He's dying.
Coughing attack at the worst time. A couple of other things to get into, AJ, but when you look at Avs versus Leafs, this isn't really an injury bowl, right? That's not what this is. Even though the Leafs have been banged up and the Avs are a little banged up right now, it's not that crazy.
No, this is don't take penalties and put them on the power play bowl.
There you go. Don't do that.
And Toronto, don't take penalties and put the Avs on the power play, because we don't want to have to watch that.
For our sake, not for the
Avs.
Exactly.
We don't want to sit through it. It's not fun. It's not productive. If we're trying to see them win a game, just cut power plays. No penalties. Zero penalties.
I'm down for this. Experience the difference compassion makes. Find a Common Spirit location near you and discover a new standard of health and healing by visiting mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. And then we can jump right into looking into the future with our crystal ball. We got E's answer, but AJ, give me a score, give me a name. What's going to happen in this game?
Oh, no. I forgot I had to do this.
On the spot.
Give me Marty Natchez and give me 4-3.
Okay. Two good answers. I'm going to go 5-2, and I'm taking Brock Nelson. Those are my answers.
The lieutenant?
Well, right now he's an alternate captain. So
Wow.
he's been
Does
promoted.
he put that in his letter?
Temporarily, yeah. He's now, instead of LT, he's A. Brock C. Nelson.
He's A. Brock C. Is his middle initial actually C?
Christian, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I always thought that you were just messing around because of the actor Brock T. Nelson, and I thought that you were just...
No, yeah, I looked that up.
And it was just like a funny, like, it rhymed, so you rolled with it, but that it's actually his middle initial?
That is actually, and like...
Amazing.
I looked up like his wife's name too, and I was like, that's a little too close to home. I'm just gonna use Madeline. Like,
Yeah. Don't make it weird, man.
yeah.
Right now, it's a funny bit. Don't make it weird.
Right, exactly. Can't go overboard. We do have my pregame picks as well, presented by Bet365, where things are never ordinary. Brock to score is one of those picks. I believe he is plus 160. So not a horrible bet there. I'm taking the over. You went 4-3 as well, AJ. With Minor and net, with a team like the Leafs' poor defense, I think we expect a little bit more of a high-scoring game.
Yes.
And then anytime you're looking for a bet, you're not sure what to do, maybe the McKinnon most shots is a pretty good one. Plus 135 on a guy who could pop off for 15 shots on any given night. Not bad.
Like a 9-shot game is just like not unrealistic. Right. Any night.
Happens all the time. Whatever you're betting on, make sure you do it with Bet365. Use the DNVR 365 code when you sign up. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado, and if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. AJ, any final thoughts on this one?
No.
All right. We'll just see what happens. Join myself and Mike on the watch along in just a few minutes here, or if that's not your thing, at very least, tune into the post game where AJ and I will break this game down here for you. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you in a few minutes. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show.
We all silly like the mayor.